Welcome back to the third and final part of the Long Voyage, part 6. And you are currently talking to a now no longer scared for his life, but still somewhat nervous fisherman at a
Can't say I
river.
blame him.
No, not really. But he's given you a description of a couple of warbands, and one of
Right.
them being of the same family that destroyed Hyrborg, namely the
Hmm.
Phalans. And the other one was a warband wearing a red cloak with yellow markings on them of some kind. And Gulfi recognized those, and they are a warband known as the Long Racers. They're famous for using long single-bladed swords. Um,
Who are they loyal to back home?
that's the thing. They are loyal to the Raven Lady.
Well, then we might be able to
But-
get them on side.
The Phalans were not, yes?
No, the Phalans were not. But you've also learned since coming here that their defection has only really happened by attacking you. That was their throwing in their lot with another sword. Up until that point,
They were considered
they
loyal.
were considered a part of the Raven Lady's retinue or her forces. And
There's an opening.
And the point being that even this ship full of Phalan troops, or several ships full of Phalan troops, wouldn't have known about this probably because they've been here.
That is a good point.
Maybe we can get them on side as well. I mean, who knows? Either way,
Ask if they condone what the rest of the fucking city did.
and well, the point is, even if they don't condone it, they're then going to be surrounded on all sides by multiple Southlanders who are suddenly against them, plus part of plus whatever other forces might be around. They might decide to, they might find that attacking everyone might be a bit suicidal. Either way, yes.
Yes. Thrody looks at Baggy and says, ask them how many they can ferry across at a time. We are more than us, after all.
Baggy looks down at the fisherman. How many do you figure you can ferry across at a time? There are
He looks at you because again you're quite large, and he does gesture towards. There's a boat on the down on the bank, but it's a small river fishing boat. So it's. In fairness, it could really only take one of you at a time, and then the person pulling on the oars. But they do have 3 of these boats there.
Okay.
He said, "Well, we can use all of them."
So 3 at a time then.
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
All right. Baggy looks back to Frody and says as much.
Of us all, in general.
Of us, one of us can fit in each boat, and they have 3 of them.
If they're loyal to Karachak, then would there be any harm in telling them we are not alone?
I've already told them we're not alone. He is.
That's good.
They are, as far as this man has told me, and I don't think he has any reason to lie in the face of certain death. He and the rest of the people in this small village, hamlets, are loyal to Karatok. And they are loyal to Karatok, well, first and foremost because they've been so historically, but also it seems because Liam rides them hard. He is apparently a most unfair leader.
Well, we already learned that much.
Yes,
he
now
would need to
we've heard it
fuel
from the
his-
horse's mouth.
He would need to fuel his war with Karachak, I suppose.
Yes.
All right, then there's no time to waste.
Yep.
Just in case, since they are loyalists, would they know of anyone else we could possibly approach to gain an upper hand in taking their city on the hill? with the weird name.
Baggy looks down at the fisherman and says, "So you've told me that you're not the only settlement who remains loyal to Karatok.
No, there are others.
But do you know of anyone who might help us in taking?" And he says the name of the fort. I can't remember it.
Ballycnock.
Ballycnock.
He says, I don't know. Maybe the thing is, he says, we are a very small hamlet, as you can see. There are only these 4 houses, so the basically that they just come by here once in a while on patrol or to get the fish or whatever. They don't really, they don't think there's a point in having a garrison of 5 or 6 warriors here, because we'd struggle to feed them properly, so but there are larger villages. If you head down along, if you head upstream, he says, and points upstream from on the river, you'll find other villages and larger ones. Of course, people live along places like the river because water and fish and so on, and you'll find larger places than this, and as best I know, they are mostly loyal to Karatok. We haven't been conquered for very long, and Liam is not kind, but there are undoubtedly also traitors, and I don't know who they are.
I see. Well, let's get us across then.
Is there anything else we can do for you? Except getting you across the river, of course.
Oh.
There is a man. How long has it go since we left the other man behind?
2 days.
2 days. There is a man. 2 days travel, and he points in the direction they came from.
Yeah.
He's in dire straits. He's gravely injured, and we fear he may not make it for long if he doesn't get help. Might you be able to, once you've helped us cross the river, to help him?
He thinks about this for a while, and then he says, I'm going to send two people there to see if we can find. Do you have any? Is there any fixed points like in the countryside that we should find him at?
Forest full of demons.
Guilty asked is any of the people of Tirglass with us?
No, they all stayed behind.
They stayed behind.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we actually talk? I assume Guilty at some point talked to Aiden about
yes.
what was the name of the forest or something.
He doesn't know what the name of the forest is, but he does know that there was a battle there, as he said, many, many, many years ago, and it was called the he calls it at least the Battle of 5,000 Arrows.
So Gilfie's like, it's near the it's near the forest that the Battle of 5,000 Arrows took place, if you know.
I don't know about that, but I do think there's an old man here in the village. He blushes a little. My father-in-law. He knows pretty much as much about the history of Tirglass as anyone I've ever met. He might know, but it's near a forest in any case, you say?
Yes.
Small,
small,
not that
okay.
big one.
But south of here and a small forest, And he is he in the forest or
Oh,
or
he's outside the forest.
okay.
Someone should warn him not to go into the forest.
Yes. And it might be a good idea for you, whoever goes to fetch him, not to enter the forest.
Oh, how come?
It's hot.
It's no concern of mine. I'm sure we should not do so if you say so.
No. Suffice to say that entering the forest is a bad idea.
Oh yes, we will make sure not to go in there definitely.
Good.
But we will do our best to find this man.
Froley, did you have something you? Or
Well-
Osmus, was that out of game? You were.
I was about to suggest the same thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, if there's
I was about to say it's perfectly fine that Baggy mentions it because Frodi cannot follow the conversation.
that's true.
Neither can Ilva. It was just me butting in with someone should warn them not to enter the forest,
Yes.
lest they'll be sitting beside the man they tried to save. If they ever get that far.
Indeed.
Right. So you yes, you have you deliver that message, and he does promise to send 2 people, and then he gestures towards the boats and says, we'll get the people to row, and then we will be ready.
Good.
And he goes and knocks on doors, and you see some very frightened faces peeking out, and and he reassures everyone that you're not enemies, and you're not the horrible giants that Liam has hired to kill everybody, and so on and so forth. And people come out of these buildings, and they do look suitably awestruck when they look at you.
That would be a good time to strike if we were actually there to kill them.
Yep.
Exactly, but they seem to have decided to trust you.
Ilva just waves at them when.
That makes there's a little boy who is probably no more than 5 who at first seems very interested, and then Ulva waves, and he's in a dreadful hurry to hide behind his mom.
Oh,
Ilva looks kind of shocked. I chose to be a battle maiden. I wouldn't do well as a mother.
Do you get word to the others up by the cliffs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ilva leaves before she makes the poor boy shit his pants as well.
Yes. All right, so you go up to the cliffs where the others are waiting, and okay. Braydon steps forward when you guys arrive and says, "So, how did it go?"
They like Karatak. And they'll help us across.
Good. That's excellent. Very good.
And they will send people to see to Aldrin.
Oh, let's hope they find him still alive. It will have been several days, but well, the wound was dressed and it was bound, so.
We'll hope that he.
And if nothing else, at least we'll find out.
Yeah.
Good. And thank you for remembering that, he said. That's a lot of people wouldn't care.
but we're PCs, so of course we're good and remember stuff like that.
That's a good one. He says, well, did we find a way across the river then?
Yeah, they'll
guessing so.
ferry us across.
Excellent. Let's go, guys. Let's go. And you all head down to the.
Yep.
On the way down, Sindri will be asking Ilva about how the exchange went. Basically, how did they respond to Southlanders being there? And
I think to get a better picture of that, Sindri, you should really talk with Gylfi. I only saw a lot of gestures. I didn't understand much of what was said.
oh, did Gylfi do the talking then?
No, Baggy did.
Maybe talk to him then.
But Baggy has a tendency to do tall tales.
I shall ask them both, one after the other, starting with Bargy and then Gylfi. So I will ask Bargy what happened, and then I'll ask Gylfi what actually happened.
Why even ask Baggy then? Just ask Gylfi.
Because to hear both accounts is more might be extrapolated. I might learn more.
If nothing else, how much he likes to exaggerate things.
Out of character, I just like to mentally strike the idea that Sindri knows a word like extrapolated from the record. He doesn't.
No.
Unfortunately, being who I am, long and difficult words spring to my mind very easily.
It's fine.
Also, I don't care about your hurt feelings, Bargy. You're a Southlander. You should be thick-skinned.
Get over it.
All right, yeah. So
Mopey McMope face.
only you.
Baggy the
vote,
movie.
yes, we could all vote to call him that, but
Baggy the Moper. That would be a bad war or nom de guerre for Southlander to be known as the Mopey.
Yep.
All right. No, but you did manage to obviously to get these people to help you, so no problem there. And then when the rest of everyone arrives, then that clearly makes that makes the villagers relax even more, because they see that there's a group of men of Tirglass, and even a she as well. So and clearly, when they see Aiden, if they had any residual doubts, they vanish then and there, because apparently you won't find any she fighting for Liam.
No.
I
wonder why.
Have handlers.
They're muscled. Yay!
Sindri,
The handlers are here.
Sindri mutters, if he does come to understand that that's the case in his native tongue, he'll mutter very quietly something about having to use the horse ears as a moral compass of some kind. But
Horse what?
horse ears. It's a racial slur used by I know some Southlanders have used against she in Jones' writings, so that I'm using it here.
Oh. Well, we can hereby conclude that went completely over my head, so Ilva wouldn't catch it at all either.
No.
He has.
She'll just look at
But
him.
we now know where the slur originated.
Oh, great! That's Sindri's claim to fame. Well, well, at least someone on the crew has to survive to come back and at some point say to the Raven Lady or someone else, "Oh, by the way, our grumpy racist friend called the she horses," and that's going to catch on somehow.
You know what he should do? He should just write down all the derogatory names he makes up for all the different people we meet, and then present that to the Raven Lady.
And gift wrapped. No. Maybe I think I'll just have it. I'll just see if I can keep Sindri alive through the campaign, and that would be ideal.
Yes, let's see if you can't
No
manage to do
shit,
that.
Sherlock.
Let's see if you can't manage to keep your character alive. Yes, that would be a pretty good goal to set yourself. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentle Southlanders, you
Are there such thing as gentle Southlanders?
yes.
Gylfi?
Yeah, Gylfi.
Oh, my bad.
Goofy is.
I guess it happens once every eon or something.
Something like
Baggy? Baggy can be gentle.
Right.
Can be, but isn't.
When
by
enjoying
default.
his private time, perhaps.
Yeah.
During those long nights.
Christ.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Ever since you mentioned that the blanket was grunting, I can only hear grunting things around him.
That is
This is-
so wrong.
Please, we're injuring our poor GM. We need to.
This is so good. This is funny. This is hilarious.
Oh, fair enough. No.
This
The
is
grunting
so
ship,
funny.
the grunting blanket, the grunting bushes.
Yeah, I can just see.
Mommy, why is that bush
I
grunting?
swear.
Don't go there! Don't go there!
Rasmus, when you decide one day to do a sort of super deformed drawing of all these characters, please promise me that the drawing of Baggy is going to be of a grunting, slightly shaky bush.
That works.
With a shield leaned against it.
Yeah.
Maybe I
with
should
it.
do little ball people like I did with the
Yes.
JPs.
Yeah, that would be good.
All people.
Okay. Anyway,
Tsum tsum people.
yes. In any case, you do actually get ferried across, not ferreted across, no, but ferried across the river, and the boats are remarkably stable little things, despite the fact that they are kind of small, but they're well built at least. So, you get across. Nobody is waiting in ambush for you on the other side or anything of the sort.
Oh, I haven't had my morning exercise yet.
You can just hit stuff.
They the locals promise you that if you come back this way, then they will obviously keep an eye out and come over and get you and ferry you back across.
That's good.
Ilva keeps a distance to the frightened 5-year-old.
Yes. Well, he doesn't stay frightened. He once he's had a moment to get used to the idea that, oh my goodness, she actually saw me. Then he's not quite as frightened anymore. It just takes a little getting used to.
All right. It's like scaring the shit out of a mouse.
Yes, a little. There's a little girl that comes over, though. She's not quite as little as him. She's probably 8, thereabouts. Comes
Did
over.
she ask Ilva if she's her mommy?
No, she really doesn't. No. All the no, plus no.
Ilva is looking at the others who are crossing, and then she realizes there's something tiny at her side,
Yes.
and looks down.
And this little girl is looking at Ilva very insistently.
She turns and... What is that?
And she's saying something to a woman you presume is her mother. And
Yeah.
her mother is, just coming over and this whole don't bother the enormous strange lady who can probably split you in two with a word. Now come here, sort of gesture. But the girl keeps looking up at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ilva just turns and goes down on one knee in front of her with a face.
She reaches out a little hesitantly because she doesn't want you to get angry. But she does reach out and she takes a hold of a lock of your hair. And she looks at her mom and she says, and she just says 2 words. You don't understand what it is, obviously, but is anybody else within reach who does?
Oh, Gelfi would be definitely. Gelfi is like
Yes.
almost always in Ilva's proximity.
True. Well, that little girl says almost like a question to her mother, says, like cons.
Oh.
Ilva looks up at Gelfi with a confused look. What?
And just as you turn your head to look up at Gylfi, the girl puts her arms around your neck and hugs you.
What is this? I think in surprise she just stands up with the girl still hanging on to her. What the fuck? And then realizes, oh right, and then holds the girl too with, what did you say? Just calmly holding the girl. Doesn't matter.
Right at that point, her mom looks like she's about to have a heart attack from nerves. Because, however friendly you are, children and all that.
I imagine at this point it becomes quite apparent that Ilva is very used to carrying around smaller children.
Yes, probably yes.
But she still looks at Gylfi. What did she say?
Gelfi is like, I'll tell you later.
Well, she stops hugging you after a moment, and then she is she gets ready to be put down because she realizes you have to go.
Well, she were holding her hair, so she holds her finger up with a wait a moment, and then takes out a little knife, chops up a little tot of her hair, a little
Yeah.
lock,
Yeah.
and gathers it with a twine and hands it to the girl.
She smiles and takes it, and you get big, bright eyes when you do that, and she looks very, very happy and says something that you are pretty certain of, and which Gylfi can confirm is a very heartfelt thank you.
She just smiles and waves.
Actually, after Evolve give her the lock of hair, Gylfi would actually like kneel next to the child.
Yeah.
And say, how old is this child?
About
8.
8. About 8.
Okay, and he would say something like quiet, like if like something like if you're going to be a good girl and eat well, you can grow up to be just like her, something like that.
The girl grins and looks at Ilva and just and then she looks over to her mom and says, I think I'm probably gonna grow up and be like Mom.
He's like, you never know, and he winks.
Oh dear, you've given this girl dreams.
Yay!
But in
Hashtag revolution begins.
Yes. In any case, these people are they're definitely friendly. They are happy to help you across the river and to offer whatever assistance they otherwise can, and they're really very clearly relieved that you are that you are on their side. And then you get across.
So, what did she say?
I think you remind, like, you have the same hair color as her, brother, or
Nicole was a 13-year-old boy who were drafted by Liam.
I just don't know the relationship to them. He is like assuming that's a brother, something like that. And and he says that he was drafted by the Liam's men.
So they had a older guy here too, who were taken. Ilva doesn't know he was only 13.
He's like older. From what his father said, he was about 13. Hopefully, he still is.
That explains why she held my hair. I figured she was just confused. As far as I've seen, at least, there's not many people here with light hair.
That is correct. That is rare.
Except for the old people.
Well, that's different. It's not
That's
like...
gray, Frody.
But, alright, you are on the bank on the opposite side of the river. The lots of you.
I expect
Do stuff
our
like-
scouts to show us the way.
Yes.
Yes. Scouting commences.
Yes, the scouting shall recommence, and you move onwards. And it is actually true what you were told by the villager here, that there are clearly more settlements in this area. You find a lot more tracks than you have. You've been moving through very sparsely populated area for, well, constantly since you set out. It hasn't exactly been rich farmland much. Oh, well, some of it has been, but it's also been heath, and it's been, which is not terribly fantastic farmland, obviously, and it's been kind of arid in places. Green, sure, but not no rivers, no lakes, and so on. So it'd be difficult to have any major settlement in the areas you've moved through. But here it's different. You find the tracks where basically where carts over the years have created roads simply by driving the same tracks over and over again. You find lots and lots and lots of signs of people who have been walking here. They might have dropped something, or they leave footprints in mud or whatever. So there are people in this area, clearly, and quite a lot of them.
Well, for once, it actually seems like poor Ilva is in deep thought.
Well,
It's
girl,
not. It's
don't you
not
hurt
a.
herself.
Exactly, it's not a state she used to be in.
Gilfy looks perplexed at Ilva.
He can hear the gears turning. It's an unusual sound coming from her.
You can see the steam. You can see the steam coming out of the.
Yes.
You're not sure if she's about to shut down from overexertion or not, but there's something going on.
He's like, a silver for your thoughts, Silver.
Huh? Looks down and trips over something because she's no longer looking where she's walking.
He tries to catch her.
Which probably means that he gets pulled down as well.
Probably. She springs back up. She's so used to this by now.
Yeah. He's like, what got you so deep in thought?
Just pondering. It really is different here for women, isn't it?
Well, yes.
It's just unusual to me.
Fair enough.
He shrugs. It's probably nothing. Just weird.
Indeed.
Kind of demanding of the population. There is so much more of them than there is of us, and we this is just a necessity that we have to utilize every single person. I imagine if there was as many Southlanders as there is people of their class, there's very much. It is very much possible that battle maidens would not be a thing.
She looks unimpressed. To say
he's like, I'm not saying it's a good thing that there would not be such a thing.
No, but it's still
could be a possibility.
I mean, in the Southlands we have a choice. Battle Maiden if you have the talent for it, or wife who takes care and defends the home. Here it's just like, hey, stand there and look pretty. Make me children.
I suppose that's how it is when you live in the land of plenty.
No wonder the men are frightened of me here. They're not used to a position.
Let's be honest, men are frightened of you back home. So
That's only if they're bastards.
Thanks.
Are you frightened of me?
I'm frightened of your skill, not of your person.
Huh? She didn't get that. It was saying, yes, I'm frightened of you, but I'm not frightened of you. So she's confused. What?
I'm frightened of the fact with how much ease you can end a life and an existence.
You do the same thing. I've seen you shoot that bow.
Yes, but I also know how much does it take to preserve the life. Believe me, it's much easier to take one than it is to save one.
Now she has something else that makes her head boil over. Okay.
He like
She-
he likes like well, quote unquote, like punches her in the shoulder, but like, like friendly tap, but like you just don't worry about it, Ilva. Sorry, I'm just getting, I suppose,
You are.
melancholic about the whole thing. There was a lot of changes in recent time.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, while you two are talking, I assume the rest of you are doing your thing as well. You're out in front, Sindri.
Yep.
And you're out there this time with Galvan, and the rest of you are bringing up the rear, basically. And you make pretty good progress for the rest of the day, because, as I said, now you have tracks that you can follow and walk along, and it makes, obviously, I mean, it makes navigation a little bit easier. It also means you have to be extra careful because you can bump into people at a moment's notice. And once or twice you do have to get, out of the way of someone coming in the other direction. But there, you don't see anyone who is, you don't see anyone who's armed and looks like they're, on a war footing for the rest of that day. And you do manage to find a good campsite away from the roads as well, so that if you do light a campfire, you're not going to get spotted.
Okay.
But you are also pretty sure, Sindri, that you are pretty close to a fairly major settlement. You don't know how large, but you've seen enough tracks and enough fresh footprints and so on and so forth that you're pretty sure that in some direction, you're not quite sure which, but in some direction you're within half a day of a significant settlement.
I convey this observation to the group and suggest that if we are going to set up a camp, one that requires a fire, the fire should be sheltered in some fashion so that smoke doesn't.
Leave that to me.
Yeah.
Need anything about fire? Go to Frothy! A resident fire appreciate.
One of the mightiest people in the entire world for their use of magic, and we've reduced him to a firelighter.
He's
Yes.
attended wick.
Yes.
He knows everything about fire, even how it tastes.
Gilfy also knows how the fire tastes. Yes.
The you set up a camp in any case, and it's and as people settle down and relax, Ardal, who hasn't been at this point sober since you left Odrin behind, he's running low on alcohol, and he's starting to snap out of it, and he's not handling it terribly well. He's shaking quite a lot.
Well, he is an addict, so.
Exactly. And he says, I'd be really, really happy if we could find some place where I can pick up something to drink. And I think there's, if I remember right, There's a city or a large town not that far from here.
That might be the one we're going for, yes.
Would that really be a good idea? We don't know whoever is on our side there or not.
Nope. It's not a good idea. Does anyone in the group, and that's a question for you, John, else have any alcohol?
No.
Okay.
He's
Only the stuff we actually hid from him.
Unless he's already discovered that.
he's pretty much been going around to everyone and looting their stores. Not looting. He's been asking everyone for what they had, and it's been obvious that he's getting frantic if he doesn't get his drink.
I think Throdi will have commented to the others that doubting how good an idea it was to bring the guy who clearly has a problem, if he's without alcohol, on a long journey where it's hard to resupply.
I would absolutely advise against approaching any settlement until we reach our target. We don't know who within the settlements might be spies in the service of Liam.
That's true.
It is a bad idea.
I absolutely agree. And that's Braden saying that. I absolutely agree. And he looks at Ordle and says, "You're not, unless we find something on someone, we fight and kill along the way, and that's not meant to be a suggestion for you to go out and kill the first person we come across, Ordle. But unless we find something in that way, you're going to have to do without. Because going into a town right now is monumentally stupid. We are going to bring attention to ourselves, and we don't want to do that." And Ordle doesn't seem to like that response much, but he nods and looks down and says, I know and I understand.
Oh, that's good.
Will you be able to do your job?
Of course. Put me in front of an enemy and I'll kill him.
Fair enough. That's all I need to know. I do not want to go into this battle thinking that anyone that's got my back won't be able to do their part.
I'll do what's expected of me.
Alright. I suppose that, and he looks to he looks between Braden and, I don't know, I suppose Frothy is the default, is the sort of de facto leader of the group at the moment.
I'd say Baggy.
Yes.
Baggy is the one doing most of the talking.
Mostly with external sources.
Yes, I think
True.
he
has also been making arguments for and against whatever's been discussed.
Well, I suppose he is the most experienced. All right then, Bargy then. And just as I don't suppose a strategy has been thought about as to what we do when we get there.
No,
If we're going to be reaching this place in half a day, it might be good to spend some of the night planning.
Half a day? It's several days away. It's the significant village or settlement he's talking about is not.
Oh right, sorry, I get that. Fair enough.
You are at this time. You are 3 days away from Balaknot.
Fair enough. 3 days away. Okay, 3 days then. not to mention the fact that there is a settlement half a day away that could give us trouble.
Yes, and perhaps settlements between there and...
Yes, and we can't count on all of them secretly being loyal to CharismaToAC.
No.
If you do bring up, the idea of, or the point of where various settlements are, then Galvin does, with some accuracy at least, he seems to know quite a bit about, locations and so on. He points out that if you travel for about 4 days in that direction, you will get to that city, and if you travel 2 days in that direction, you'll get to that stronghold, and if you travel 2 days past that, then there will be a river with a ford, and on the other side of the ford there's a trading post. He knows a good deal about this sort of thing, and he also points out that in fact, if you, from where you are now, if you were to travel due east for about a day and a half, 2 days probably, he says, probably more like 2 days, you would reach CharismaToAC.
I see. All right. I'm just thinking if obviously we should do our best to go around the settlement we're close by to. We need to get to.
Yes.
Get to
I agree.
We need to get to this settlement on the hill as expediently as possible at this point. Then,
yes, and while we still have the element of surprise.
I think, considering, let me put it this way, they wouldn't have sent us in such small numbers if they didn't think we couldn't handle it.
No.
That being said, does not mean we should not play to as many advantages as possible. I think, considering us, and he indicates all the Southlanders in the group, fear and panic will have to play a big part in how we do this. We should be able, I think personally, if we are to approach them, we should do it as quietly as possible, and then as soon as we are within striking distance, then make as much noise as possible.
I'm not sure I agree with that. So here's how I see it. Assuming that the place is fortified, if there's a palisade around it, we can make as much noise as we want to. We won't be getting in, and they'll be picking us off with their arrows. But we need to.
No, please carry on.
What I think we need to do once we reach the fort is we need to open the gates.
It's my idea. My thinking was that yes, we should open the gates quietly and then make the noise when we're inside the walls.
Then we are in agreement.
Yeah.
I also think that,
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I do have tactics.
Yep. Well, what they just suggested does sound like quite a good idea. Make sure that you get... It's one idea, certainly. It's not the only one, but it is not an unsound idea to somehow find a way to open the gates quietly and then storm in and make a whole lot of fuss and noise, because, attacking them openly when they have a palisade wall and you have very few people is probably not very good. Probably not a very good idea.
I mean, even if we could set fire to the whole thing, which we can, but...
Well, Nilva does point that out, that getting in quietly and opening it up would be a good idea, and then making a hell of a noise.
Also, I'm working on the assumption that the people inside are not going to be secretly loyal. They've proven that they would not answer the call to warn their fellows when the invasion began in the first place. If we do successfully take the settlement, I do not think, of course, I do not think it's safe to leave anyone alive or capable in that place who could later bear arms.
I agree. We kill them all.
No, not all. Just anyone, any man or young boy who could wield a weapon against us. They have a culture of not allowing their women to fight, which is strange, but it means that I do not think they would press women into military service in the matter. If we left women and children alive to spread a message of fear, but killed any man or young boy who could effectively go to war against us, that would be the most efficient method.
It's a fort. How many women do you think will be there?
The wives of all the men.
Yes, that was my thinking.
Maybe. I'm not so sure. But we'll see.
Well, the situation will in part lay out our actions. We can't rely on any plan of ours being able to. We won't be able to follow it to the letter once we get into the thick of things.
No.
Those are my suggestions, at least.
I agree. Open the gates. See if some of us can't. Well, maybe Frode can do something from the outside, but if not, then some of us sneak inside, open the gates, and the rest of us charge in, chaos and mayhem, job done.
I can certainly do something from the outside, but it probably won't be unnoticeable.
No, and we'll need to have the gates open before we do something that's loud and noisy.
And while you walk along and discuss tactics and ideas, sit there, actually, you're not walking along, you're sitting there because it's camp. So while you do that, the night gets longer and longer. There is, mysteriously enough, another raven looking down upon you from above. And what that sees you do, we will figure out next week.
Cool.
No vision for Bargy yet.
No vision for Bargy just yet.
I still want. I still think the vision should happen while he's in the middle of his.
I was certain that was the case.
Good grief.
Well, it would
be hilarious.
Look at it this way, John. It would give you as the Raven Lady a chance to really have a go at him for it.
Not the most impressive weapon I've ever seen.
You call
There is-
that a club?
Hey, don't make fun of Baggy's thing.
All right, guys.
Poor Baggy.
There is
guys.
Joan. There is
Yes.
there is one thing
Yes.
I'd like to
Yes.
mention
Yes.
before we. So basically, if Sindri does ask Baggy about his talk with the fisherman, Baggy will tell the absolute truth and nothing more and nothing less. And Sindri will be able to confirm this with Gylfi because he doesn't trust Baggy.
Unless guilty lies.
No, it's Ilva who doesn't trust him because she holds grudges.
Basically, the idea is that as long as they're in war mode, he's not going to endanger them by telling tall tales and falsehoods. So-
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
just to make that clear.
Yes. All right, guys. You get boom, 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 boom.
Music.
No, you get 3 XP for today. Customary, but it is what's recommended as a kind of an average. So,
Cool.
and we will see you all back here next week for some more The Long Voyage.
Yep.
I
And,
still hear Song of Tara.
Yes, I know you do, but no, it's The Long Voyage.
Yes.
You know-
And we will hope that we will have all our listeners back, and if we're lucky, maybe even a couple of new ones, because spread the word, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And that means that from us here until next week, it's bye.
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 Boy.
Bye bye.